Morning number 1851, consecutive days in a row. Morsels of a thought number 1851. We're going to bring more virtue into the world with my show because I'm trying to bring us morsels of a thought of wisdom. Knowing the right things to do is a form of wisdom, and doing it is virtue. Yay! That's how we're going to bring virtue into the world. So, I'm going to bring you wisdom from people who have learned things that were the right things for them to do, and then we're going to copy them, or at least take their examples to heart. All right, so here we've got Allyson Chavez. She is partially religious in the book. I am personally not that religious, but I do believe in a higher power and that there is a great spirit and that we all are part of the great spirit, whether or not we acknowledge him or it. And there's a law of perpetual transmutation. Now, this book is called The Prosperity Approach, the simple formula to ultimate prosperity by Allyson Chavez, with a Y for Allyson. And it's a best-selling book. And we are on page 55. Law of perpetual transmutation. These are some of the laws to get us going. Everything is either going into physical form or out of it. The form it takes depends on the condition of the environment. Take water, for example. Water exists in many forms: vapor, a gas in the form of steam, rain, and as a solid in ice or snow. But conditions have to be right for it to exist in any of these forms. Conditions have to be right for it to exist in any of those forms. This is a good way to put it, huh? Rain doesn't always turn to snow. In fact, rain clouds don't always bring rain. The conditions in the environment aren't always conducive to rain. Water can go through a few of these forms without going through all of them, and it can shift back and forth between forms. It has to have the right environment for it to exist in a specific form. Our ideas work the same way. The level of prosperity you want to develop is in its beginning state invisible to the physical world. It's just as real in your mind as it will be when you experience it on the physical plane. The only thing different is its form. As long as you hold this idea of prosperity in the right environment long enough, it will show up in your physical world. And where is that environment? Right in your mind. And how do you get it to show up? With belief, she says. With belief. As you hold on to your idea and believe you can experience it, you'll start to move toward it through action. Now, this is also con agreed on by other authors. For example, the signature I got from George J. Chanos in the book that I read on Wednesdays now, he wrote Believe, and I can show you. Okay, she wrote this, and he wrote that. See that? So think about it. There are people who believe this. And when you believe that prosperity comes to you, then prosperity does come to you. The interesting thing is that I'm going to pause for a little bit. There was a time that I got a scholarship and I believed that I deserved it. I believed I deserved it. I just didn't know whether I was still thinking, okay, I need to be humble enough to know that I may not get it because as far as I have tried, I have done the best I possibly could, and I have received the highest possible scores, and um, I have participated in the greatest number of activities that I could physically muster. So I, deep down inside, I believed that I could get this award. I just didn't know how, or that I could, or that I would. I mean, that I could, I knew, but or whether I would, I didn't know. But the fact that I believed, I think, brought it about, because that's how I wound up with it. And the interesting thing is that in the entire lottery of all of the college students, that I mean the people in a lottery, that there were something like 2,000 on campus living spots at that time for 4,000 applicants, and there were 4,000 numbers that they were putting into the lottery. Guess what my number was? Four. And two of my classmates were number two and number three. Number one was from somewhere else in California. And that was interesting. The following year, I was number 41 because we had to make way for the high school students. Anyway, as you hold onto your idea and believe you can experience it, you'll start to move toward it through action. By continuing to do this, your prosperity idea, this is Allyson Chavez talking, is gathering your prosperity idea is gathering more energy and getting, quote, heavier, end quote, if you will. It's getting more substance behind it. Once you have enough energy behind it, it will turn into matter. This will start when the circumstances you need to get this idea into physical form will begin to present themselves. As you imagine what life will look like and feel like once you've reached prosperity, you're gathering more energy to your idea and expressing gratitude for it as if it's already here makes it more and more real to you in your mind. Quote, end quote, real. As you do this, you're literally attracting prosperity to you. You'll have ideas come into your mind that will lead you to take action. Many times it's a small action to take, so don't be deceived by its size. There was a time that the littlest thing could make a difference. Here, her book says, I had a small thought come to me when business was pretty slow to text a friend about any job openings where we used to work together. I didn't want to admit that I was having challenges with my business, but I swallowed my pride and asked anyway. Naturally, she asked how business was doing. I told her I was looking to speak on more stages, and she asked if I thought about writing a book. Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I had. Her brother in law just happened, quote unquote, to be a publisher. She connected us. I submitted him the outline for this book. It was a fit for what he wanted, and now you have this book in your hands, all from one small, quote unquote, thought. Faith and belief that your idea will manifest is essential to bringing it into physical form. This is what creates the right environment for it to take form. Just as faith and belief literally bring your prosperity to you, fear, doubt, and disbelief will literally repel it from you. Entertaining those things takes energy away from your desire and causes you to lose focus on what you want. They distract, discourage, and destroy the environment that your idea needs to be able to grow, thrive, and manifest physically. We're reading Allyson Chavez, The Prosperity Approach, the simple formula to ultimate prosperity. She's right, the littlest thoughts. I love the, she says, Allyson Chavez says, I love the old 1980 live action movie Popeye starring Robin Williams. There is a character shown at the beginning of the movie who has dropped his hat, and as he is moving forward to pick it up, he inadvertently kicks it. He ends up chasing his hat all over town because he keeps kicking it away when he's so close to reaching it. That's what happens when you give space for fear, doubt, or disbelief to take over. You're kicking your prosperity away from you when you're so close to picking it up. Create the environment that will be healthy for your prosperity to manifest. Be enthusiastic, be believing, act on the small, large, and even scary ideas that come to you that align with your goal. Express gratitude for it as if it's already here. Spend time imagining what life will look and feel like once your goal is yours. Keep doubt, fear, and disbelief at bay. Remember, when I have a choice, I choose to believe. Law of vibration. Everything is in a state of vibration, and that vibration is a medium or vehicle for transferring signals. Remember my favorite Einstein quote about everything is energy and that's all there is to it? I'll refresh your memory. Quote, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. That's what he said. This quote helps me anchor in the law of vibration really quickly. Everything is in a specific state of vibration, including the prosperity you want. The only reason you're not experiencing it in your physical reality is that you're not a vibrational match to it yet. Everything that's going on around you physically is a vibrational match to you, whether you consciously like it or not. Since we live in this universe of vibration and attraction, only those signals that are a match to ours will come into our experience. So here we are, walking around emitting a frequency at all times, not even aware that we're doing it. Our vibration bump up our vibrations bump up against other vibrations in the form of people, events, opportunities, and so forth. If it's a match, it will join us in our journey. If it's not, we'll either not even notice it. Why do opportunities always come to lucky ones, but not to me? Or we'll notice it and quickly dismiss it. That could never work for me. I wouldn't even know what to do. Goodness. James Allen said, the outer conditions of a man's life will always be found to be harmoniously related to his inner state. The soul attracts that which it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and also that which it fears. Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. If you want to change, this is by James Allen that says that. And now back to Allyson Chavez. If you want to change the circumstances you're in, you must tune into another quote station end quote with your vibration. You must change your vibration. Most people do it backwards. They wait for the circumstance to change before they'll even consider changing. If such and such a thing happens, then I'll be happy. But that's not how the laws work, and you'll find yourself more and more frustrated as you wait for your dream to come down to your level of vibration instead of consciously shifting your inner frequency so that it's an energetic match for what you want. When we bought our first home, we were house poor for a long time. Our multi-level home was perfect for Christmas lights, but we never had the money around Christmas time to get them. And once was Christmas ended, we still didn't have money to buy them on clearance. Part of the quote problem end quote was that we wanted a very specific look on our home, red, green, and white lights only. That would require buying extra sets of lights so my husband could change out the orange and blue bulbs with the colors and the pattern we wanted. And I felt we couldn't afford that. Beware, feelings and words are powerful. However, every January I would think to myself, this year it's going to be different. This year we're going to make more money so we can have Christmas lights on the house. I said this for a number of years, but Christmas came and went with our little home devoid of cheerful Christmas lights. Our physical circumstances couldn't change from year to year because my vibration didn't change. I had no idea how we could get Christmas lights, so I didn't give any thought to it other than to say what I wanted. Just declaring what I wanted wasn't enough to change my vibration to a state that would include having Christmas lights on our home. It wasn't until I consciously changed my vibration and held it there that we got Christmas lights on our house. But when I did, we enjoyed exactly the lights we wanted for years. The great James Allen said, "Men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound." How do you change your vibration? I'll show you shortly. And we're reading from Allyson Chavez, The Prosperity Approach, the simple formula to ultimate prosperity. We take the magic action on the things we know are right to do. Uh, Knowing the right thing to do is wisdom. And then taking the action to do those right things is called virtue. So here, Alison Chavez's book, she's on page 59 saying, Law of Obedience. You experience life according to your obedience, your understanding, and your use of universal laws. Your life is shaped according to how you work with the universal laws. You will either serve the principle or the physical evidence in all you think and do. The physical evidence that surrounds you can be pretty darn compelling, and most people will look at their circumstances and do their darndest to change them without understanding the cause that created those circumstances in the first place. It's when we understand the principles like these universal laws and begin to obey them that life really starts to change. Living in ultimate prosperity requires that you obey the principles and not the empirical evidence of your circumstances. Most people obey the evidence, and that's what keeps them from living the life they want. I recently spoke with a woman who lived with a lot of fear and doubt in her life and wanted to learn how to change all of that. We had a wonderful conversation as I explained what was lacking and how life is different when she applied the prosperity formula. She expressed a lot of gratitude for my insight, but I invited her to work with me. She immediately listed all the evidence as to why she couldn't, and most of that evidence had to do with money. She had so much fear wrapped up in letting go of money that when the opportunity came to her to change all of that, she let the money stop her. Most people do this. She wanted to change her money story, but felt she couldn't do that until her money story had changed. And that's how most of us stay stuck. I was sad for her when we finished the call because I knew that she was only going to create more of what she already had. Her circumstance or physical evidence said she didn't have a lot of money, but the principle, the truth, is that she is surrounded by abundance and prosperity. Her experience of life will only change once she begins to follow the principle, the law of sacrifice. Something always has to be sacrificed for something else. Sacrifice is letting go of something of a lower nature so you can receive something of a higher nature. I used to really struggle with the law of sacrifice. I'd often heard sacrifice described as, quote, giving up something good for something better, end quote. But the problem was, many times when I, quote, sacrificed, end quote, I didn't end up with something better. I liked the good. What if the better never came? But we're using the law of sacrifice all day, every single day. Because we live in linear time, doing one thing necessitates giving up something else. You can't eat at Ruth's Chris while something simultaneously eating at McDonald's. What? You can't eat at Ruth's Chris while simultaneously eating at McDonald's. You can't watch a movie and attend a concert. One must be sacrificed for the other. If you want to be physically healthy and fit, you must sacrifice some sleeping time to move your body. You'll have to change your eating habits and drink lots of water. At first, is that sacrifice hard? Sure. It can definitely feel challenging, especially if your body loves what you're currently doing. But over time, when you have more energy, when your skin glows, you sleep better, and you get to buy smaller sizes, does it feel so much like a sacrifice? Not at all. You traded the lower for the higher. Sacrifice is just trading up, quote, end quote. My client Karen was a wonderful example of using the law of sacrifice. Karen came to me because she was tired of living on the edge of panic every day. She was sleepwalking at night, was snappish with her kids, impatient with her husband, and feeling stagnant in her own growth. Money was a constant worry, and Karen was ready to change that. As we worked together, she began investing more in herself and her personal development. She began teaching her children new ways to think. Her level of panic significantly decreased so that she was sleeping better. She adopted better eating habits, then trained for and ran half marathons. And because of all of Karen's sacrifice, her family was able to move out of of their unsafe neighborhood into a home and neighborhood that was much nicer. Karen did a lot of quote sacrificing, end quote. She said, quote, I carried around a lot of money issues, anxiety issues, and self-worth issues. This has made a huge difference. I'm feeling better and sleeping better. Allison brought this into my life at the perfect time. It was inspiring to watch how much Karen grew as we worked together. She acted in spite of her fear, and wonderful results came from that. She was willing to trade up. When growth opportunities come that initially make you feel frightened or unsure about your ability to be successful, ask if where you currently are will get you what you want. If not, be willing to trade up. Now, here's a quote by T. Harv Eker. Spell the word T, period, Harv, next word, Eker. He says, if you want to move to a higher level of life, you have to be willing to let go of some of your old ways of thinking and being and adopt new ones. The results will eventually speak for themselves. Very much so. Very much so. The law of cause and effect, aka the law of the harvest. And then after that, we will have law of attention, aka law of focus. After that, we will get some into some awareness and write down some main things that you've given your attention to today. And is that attention leading you one small step closer to your dream or one small step away from it? Write it below. Be honest and objective. This is for awareness purposes only. And then after that, we'll go into the law of non-resistance. After that, we'll go into the law of flow. And then there will be another exercise where you will think of an emotional or physical situation that is not flowing well. What is one thing you can do to activate the law of flow, and write it down? Then there's the vacuum law of prosperity. And then there's a question. And then there are more laws to use when it seems like nothing is working. There's one, there's two, there's three. Oh boy, that's a lot. Four. Um, wow. Okay. There's more than that. Uh, I can keep on going, I suppose, and keep looking. But anyway, there is a lot to do here in this book. This is a wonderful book. We're on page 62 on the law of cause and effect, aka the law of the harvest. For every cause, there is a definite effect, and for every effect, there is a definite cause. Your thoughts, behaviors, and actions create specific effects that manifest and create your life as you know it. Effects don't happen randomly. Okay? So we'll talk to you again. See you tomorrow. Old Kinderhook.